You won't believe what was found inside Smokey Yunick's legendary garage. Dust-covered trophies, half-finished engines, and the silent echo of a man who refused to play by anyone's rules. In the heart of Daytona Beach, long before NASCAR became a billion-dollar empire, there was a place that didn't follow trends. It created them. A small, greasy shop with a hand-painted sign that read, "The best damn garage in town." And inside was a genius, a rebel, a man who could make machines sing and institutions tremble. His name was Henry Smokey Yunick. Smokey wasn't just a mechanic. He was a pilot, an engineer, a storyteller, and one of the most controversial minds in the history of racing. He built cars that broke records and broke rules, engines that sounded like thunder, and ideas that scared the people in charge. But behind that defiant grin and oil-stained hands was a man at war, with the system, with his legacy, and eventually with time itself. Born in 1923 in Neshaminy, Pennsylvania, Smokey grew up in the thick of the Great Depression. He learned to fix everything, not because he wanted to, but because he had to. When World War II came, he joined the U.S. Army Air Forces and flew 50 combat missions as a B-17 pilot. It was there he earned his nickname after landing a burning plane, Smokey. He survived the war, but peace didn't suit him. So he came home, restless, and opened a little garage in Daytona Beach in 1947. No one knew then that this modest workshop would become the birthplace of legends. By the 1950s, Smokey Yunick had become the man behind the fastest cars in NASCAR. His machines carried icons like Fireball Roberts and Herb Thomas to victory. He was a master of bending and sometimes shattering the rulebook. Smokey's mantra was simple: if the rulebook doesn't say you can't do it, then you can. And with that, he rewrote racing history. He found ways to make engines lighter, cars faster, and aerodynamics smoother before most engineers even knew the term. When NASCAR tried to limit fuel capacity, he found a way around it, designing a car with hidden extra fuel in the lines. When officials confiscated his gas tank for testing, he famously started the car and drove off without it, yelling, "You forgot to take the rest of the car." It wasn't just rebellion, it was brilliance disguised as mischief. Smokey was a man who refused to accept limits, mechanical or human, but every genius eventually meets his wall. By the late 1960s, Smokey's constant battles with NASCAR officials had turned bitter. He accused them of corruption. They called him a cheater. In one of his most famous quotes, he said, "The difference between me and NASCAR is, I know when I'm lying." The sport he helped build had turned corporate, political, and hollow in his eyes. The grease-stained garages were being replaced by suits and sponsors. And for Smokey, that was the death of what made racing pure. So he walked away. But quitting was never in his DNA. He shifted his energy toward invention, chasing a dream that might outlive even racing itself. In the 1970s, Smokey began working on what he called the hot vapor engine, a design so ahead of its time, it bordered on science fiction. It was an internal combustion engine capable of nearly doubling fuel efficiency while cutting emissions in half. He believed it could revolutionize transportation, make cars run cleaner, cheaper, better. He claimed to have tested it on a Pontiac Fiero that got over 50 miles per gallon using a 450 horsepower engine. To him, it wasn't about fame. It was about proving what human ingenuity could do when no one was looking. But the world didn't want to listen. Big oil companies weren't interested in efficiency. Automakers dismissed him. He was too unpredictable, too honest, too smoky. Still, he kept building, experimenting, and chasing perfection. He once said, "I don't build things to make money. I build things to make them work better." And in that cluttered shop full of fumes, engines, and unfinished dreams, Smokey Yunick was still fighting for progress, for truth, for himself. As the years caught up to him, his health began to fade. The man who once defied gravity in the skies and speed limits on the track now moved slower, his hands shaking, his breath heavy. But he never stopped working. The best damn garage in town was still alive, its heart beating in the clatter of tools and the hum of an engine that refused to die. Then in 1998, tragedy struck. The garage, his life's work, his cathedral of innovation, burned to the ground. Decades of history, inventions, and memories reduced to ashes overnight. For Smokey, it wasn't just a building, it was his soul. But even as he watched the flames rise, he didn't cry. He simply said, "Everything ends, sooner or later." But I got no regrets. I did it my way. He never rebuilt it. He didn't need to. The fire only made his legend stronger. In his final years, Smokey turned to writing, pouring his life story into one of the most unapologetically honest autobiographies ever written. Best Damn Garage in Town. Over 700 pages of truth, anger, laughter, and confession. He exposed NASCAR politics, Detroit's hypocrisy, and his own flaws without hesitation. Every chapter was a spark from a fading flame. His way of saying, "If I can't race, I'll still tell the truth." When asked why he spent his last years writing instead of resting, he replied, "Because somebody's got to tell the truth before it gets rewritten." By 2001, Smokey's health had worsened. He was battling leukemia, but still spent his mornings reading letters from fans, engineers, racers, and dreamers who said his work inspired them to think differently. He'd smile and say, "That's what it's about, making people think." On May 9th, 2001, Smokey Yunick passed away at the age of 77. He died in Daytona Beach, the same town where his story began, surrounded by memories of a life lived full throttle. But even in death, his impact refused to fade. Smokey Yunick's fingerprints are all over modern racing. In every aerodynamic tweak, every fuel regulation, every engineer who dares to ask, "What if?" He wasn't perfect, and he never wanted to be. He was a man who believed in doing things differently, even if it meant standing alone. He once said, "Rules are only good until somebody smarter finds a better way." And that philosophy is what still drives innovation today. Walk down Beach Street in Daytona now, where his garage once stood, and the air still smells faintly of oil and salt. The lot is empty, but if you listen closely, you can almost hear it. The rattle of a wrench, the growl of an engine, and that rough voice muttering under his breath about someone doing it wrong. Because Smokey Yunick didn't just build cars, he built a legacy, one forged in rebellion, resilience, and relentless curiosity. He showed the world that innovation isn't about permission, it's about courage, about having the guts to say, "I can do it better," and then proving it. He wasn't trying to win trophies, he was trying to win truth. And even when his world burned down, he stood tall. Because legends like him aren't remembered for following the rules. They're remembered for changing them. So the next time you hear an engine roar, remember this: the spirit of Smokey Yunick still lives. In every mechanic who questions, in every racer who pushes the limit, in every dreamer who refuses to quit. Because some men build machines, and some, like Smokey, build revolutions out of steel and fire.